Now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content on info@millenniumnews24.com. Download the Millennium News 24 app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Stay tuned with Millennium TV and Millennium News 24 for the latest updates.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Jineea Butler, and this is my co-host,
A.B. Butler.
And we are the Butler Gang here for the New American Perspective on this Wednesday. And did you miss us? Because we miss you. There's so much to talk about today in the United States and across the world of what is happening. So first, cousin, how are you? How are you doing on this first Wednesday of the new year?
Man, Happy New Year's, people that's watching, showing the love. Glad to be here. Glad to show your love. Glad to support one of y'all. Here
Right.
to, share the love.
That's right. And so that is my partner in perspective, A.B. Butler. Now, listen, normally this show, Mondays and Wednesdays at 1 p.m. And even though today came faster, the conversation could not wait because what's happening right now, globally, politically, culturally, directly impacts business, community, and power. Today, we're covering the international conflict, U.S. leadership, fraud at home, cultural worlds and entertainment, and later in the show, we'll be joined by someone who has lived at the intersection of hip-hop, entrepreneurship, and influence for over 2 decades. But first, let's get into the news, cuzzo. Okay, so you know your guy, President Donald Trump, has made one of the most aggressive foreign policy moves we've seen in decades, and he and the world is watching. So have you seen what's going on, cousin?
A G-check, he's so disrespectful.
You think he's disrespectful?
So disrespectful.
Why do you say that? Let's just
How
get
you
right
gonna,
into it.
how you gonna snatch a man out his bed, him and his woman, and lock them up? And it's like
Okay.
enough is enough.
Okay, no, but we gotta talk about this, and this is your I love your perspective, but let me give you the details and see if you feel the same way. Okay, so the United States have taken control of Venezuelan oil output, okay, with President Trump stating that Venezuela will provide up to 50 million barrels of oil to the U.S. as part of the transitional process. This follows the capture of Nicolas Maduro and his wife, who were removed from power after years of international disputes over legitimacy, human rights violations, and economic collapse. Trump has stated publicly that the U.S. will oversee Venezuela until new elections are held. Now, AB, let me bring you in right here. Now, is this leadership or is this overreach? But hold on before you say what you say. Now, let's look at this. So the U.S. under Biden, and I think Obama was saying something, but under Biden, they put a $25 million bounty on his head, okay, on Maduro's head, to, because he was doing these war crimes. He's taking advantage of the people. He's trafficking fentanyl into the United States, okay? So he's doing all of this craziness with his people in Venezuela and everything like that. Now, you see the people in Venezuela cheering that he's gone. Now, this has been a 6-month investigation with Pete Hegseth and the Department of War and everybody about going in on him. Now, I don't know if this is an actual act of war or he's a hero, but you'll see Chuck Schumer, the U.S. Senator out of New York, back in 2020 talking about, oh, Donald Trump don't want to go get Maduro because he's on these kind of people's teams. And then in 2026, he said, oh, Donald Trump went in there and illegally took Maduro. So the question is that if this man's got to leave, does how I mean, I know that he went to go get him in the middle of the night, but let's be realistic.
Yo, let's recheck this, right? Everything you said, right,
Mhm.
is in their country. It's in their country.
No, everything is not in their country. They're
It's-
trafficking fentanyl to us,
Well, what you
which is
think
killing.
America? What you think America's is trafficking to us, right? Every time you turn the news on, let's be honest, America is not that hero. America is they doing so much. Listen, I understand, Miss Butler, but America,
I'm in
is
with the
do-
American gang.
yeah, but American, I'm with the American gang too, but I'm saying the American president, he go do this in another country. He should be worrying about his country,
He
fixing
is
these
worried
greedy
about his country. They put a
Airbnb.
$25 million bounty on his head. Now let's just see. For years, the Democrats and even international bodies allowed Maduro to remain in power. Now, don't forget, he was supposed to. It's like if Donald Trump stays in after his term is over and he won't leave and nobody can topple him. This man stayed. Despite a $25 million bounty on his head, despite widespread fraud claims, despite starvation and mass migration, and then he sent, you know what else he did, cousin? This is the big part. You know that Tren de Aragua gang? You know what he did? He let them out of prison to come to the United States.
Of course, because he already knew what they was going to do. He
What do
already
you
knew.
mean? If he didn't do this stuff, we wouldn't be arresting him. What are you talking about?
He already knew Donald Trump, that greed. You know, these dudes out here is greedy. I talk about
Wait a
this.
minute. He dumped out his prison system and
Okay.
sent them here. You could go free, you go to America.
Hmm.
What do you mean? Mm-hmm. So you sending murderers and all this over here, and we shouldn't do anything about it. And now suddenly, when Trump acts, we hear words like war crime, imperialism, and international violation. So I have to ask, where was that
Before, before,
outrage when the Venezuelan people
before,
were
before
captured?
they was here, you don't think it was murder was going on?
What you mean? I'm saying
I'm
by the
just saying
hands of
it's
the Venezuelan people, the Tren de Aragua gang. So now he did all these things, right? Maduro, he did all these things. Donald Trump went and scooped him up, put him in a Nike Tech sweatsuit, and made him stand
we got
trial.
that sweatsuit too. You know that, right?
Huh?
We got that sweatsuit.
Uh-huh, you got one of those?
Yeah, yeah.
So what
We're
I'm
back in the
saying
game on it.
was back in the game. So that's what Trump is saying. Back in the game. You back in the game. You back in this jail over here. So when he went to stand trial, he's telling the judge said, state who you are. He said, I'm the president of Venezuela. And he said, no, 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 I just need your name. His wife said, I am the first lady of Venezuela. So they are holding them hostage in the Brooklyn Detention Center, same place where they had um Puffy, right? So they're over there with him. And they're also the
They
guy
not
who
over there
shot.
with Puff.
No,
Puff
Puffy
and
is in,
Four
but
Dicks.
where Puffy was in Brooklyn,
Mhm.
they had him there. And then now Luigi Mangione, the guy who shot the insurance president, is in there too. So now you got all these people in in here. Puffy gone now, thank God, because we don't need him thinking up nothing with none of these people. So, you know, I don't know, cousin. I don't know that you can say. So let me add another layer. The
Mhm.
actual leader of Venezuela, opposition figure Maria Corina Machado, is a Nobel Peace Prize winner and recognized globally for her democratic efforts. She
Mhm.
won the election. Maduro refused to leave. She won, right?
Mhm.
Now he refuses to leave. So when people say this is an act of war, I ask, is resigning, is restoring a legitimate election a result, an act of war? Or is it ignoring democracy, the real crime. So do you, AB, do you think Americans understand how much oil, politics, and global stability are connected?
Oh yeah, the greed. That's a G check. The greed. Cause
So you mad at this?
let me say this, cuz it's a G check. They get all this oil, all this land, right? And they still raising the tolls, the train, the buses.
Mm-hmm.
They raising all the money for them, but taking from the poor. You get
Yeah,
where I'm coming from?
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
but
taking all this money, this oil, and what is you really doing for the poor people? The people that need that help. You want to destroy American, but you worrying about another country, what they doing over
what
there.
their oil. So now listen, cousin, you talk
Okay.
about poor
You
people.
sick.
Now you
Yeah.
talk about poor people. Have you
Hmm.
been to the gas tank lately? So now oil is going down. So now if Trump gets the oil back down to $2 and something a gallon, back down to $1 something a gallon, is that helping the poor people or not?
But no, that's helping the gas station, the governor, and
Now,
all them because yeah, the gas could go down and
wait a
still.
minute. Wait a minute.
But no, no,
I
no,
want to fill up for cheap.
no. But I understand what you want to fill up for. Just like you want to fill up for cheap, they want to fill up for for all that money they getting. That's exactly what they
Well,
doing.
here's the problem. Now, let me tell
Hmm.
you the problem. So I've been getting into some oil deals and stuff like that, and I've been finding more out. And so
Oh,
people
Jesus.
get oil deals and all of that. So what I'm finding out is that people, these oil companies are actually paying 60, 80 cents. By the time it gets to America, it's probably like $1.20 that they're paying for the oil and then charging us the $4 for it, right?
Hmm.
Charging us the $4 for it. So if he can make those margins go down and down, and then the oil companies benefit less and the people benefit more. Now, I'm not for, you go stealing a whole bunch of oil from Venezuela as the price that, the price on this man's head, took this man out of office. So I guess he's paying himself because Trump said, they said, what you gonna do with the two? He got two oil tankers. He said, what you gonna do with the two oil tankers? He said, we keeping them. I am not mad at the super OG in the White House. I mean, how could you be mad at somebody that went into the White House? We know that he was watching Scarface and The Godfather when he grew up because he is acting like the ultimate mob boss. And he played Biggie's Hypnotized on his video after the capture of Maduro. And then let me say this too. There's videos of Maduro where he's like, oh, come and get me and this and that. And then so now when Trump went to go get him, we got a problem. We have a problem, Houston. That's what Mr. Cassimatidis said the other day. So we're going to move on. We're going to take a break really quick. And then we come back. We're going to talk about the Minnesota governor, Tim Walz. Now, cousin, you remember when we were talking about the Somalian people, up in Minnesota, and they have the $8 billion worth of fraud, right? You remember that, right?
Hmm.
Well, these people are back in the news because that governor right there, Governor Tim Walz, who was Kamala Harris's, the reason why this is important, because he was Kamala Harris's vice presidential candidate, and now he's decided not to run for re-election because of what all the fraud that's going on. And he said that he's got to clear Minnesota's name or Minnesota's going to look bad, so he's not going to run again for re-election. And so we're going to talk about that when we come right back on the New American Perspective here on Millennium News 24, and we'll be right back.
And we are back.
Right back here with the host Jineea Butler and my co-host
A.B. Butler, back in the game entertainment.
back in the game. Here we go. Back in the game. And we are the Butler Gang here on Millennium News 24 with your new American perspective. And we're breaking it down. So now let's bring this home. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has announced he will not seek re-election following the mounting fraud investigators in his state. This includes the massive welfare and daycare fraud, including the now confirmed revelation that there were no children in some of the daycare centers being funded. So the story was broken by an independent investigator, Nick Shirley. Broken by an independent investigator here, Nick Shirley. Here's what we know. 64 of the 84 individuals charged are of Somali descent. Millions in taxpayer dollars were stolen. Federal investigations are ongoing, and yet Minnesota produced Elon Omar, who has her own unresolved controversies. So, AB, I want to ask you plainly, does this raise questions about leadership, oversight, and accountability, especially when Democrats position Walz as a national figure?
Listen, I keep telling you, cousin, I know I sound like a broken record. I'm telling you, it should come to a point where all these Congress, the senators, even the president, he feels like he can't get locked up. One day he gonna wake up, him and his girl, his wife, I don't know what he gonna call her.
His wife.
They gonna be knocking at his door and say, "Come on, put them handcuffs on, champ."
Well, they did do that, right? They did.
Oh, they did? I ain't know nothing about that.
They put the handcuffs on President Trump.
I ain't know nothing about that.
I'm sorry. They did put the handcuffs on. What do you mean? You know that's how he got the 34 felonies. So don't act like he didn't get arrested, that he didn't go to jail, and that he's not taking other presidents out. You know, President Trump has issues with his with himself, and so he loves revenge. He loves to do revenge type stuff. I'm sharing now on Facebook. And if anybody wants to tune in, I'm sharing on my page and Facebook. You could share yours. So okay. So we also had ICE involved shooting in Minneapolis, where a woman was shot during an enforcement operation. Details are still developing, but here's the reality. Cities that refuse to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement are now seeing conflict between local leadership and federal law play out in the streets. This isn't theoretical anymore. It's happening real time. So now what happened is Kristi Noem sent out the ICE to, now that they know that Minnesota's got massive fraud, they sent the ICE out there. And so in the last couple of days, they've arrested like 1,000 people. So the one lady said, "Oh, you're not getting me today, ICE." So she took our car, supposedly, allegedly, she took our car and she drove and tried to go at the ICE and tried to run them over with her car. They shot her, and they said that she didn't have a pulse when they was taking her to the hospital, but they don't know if she's alive. So I don't know. When you don't have a pulse, I don't know if you're alive. I don't know what they're talking about. So ICE has
ICE G-check. ICE got bodies on them.
Yes. yes. ICE took their first body today. And so people have to be serious about this. And, it is a touchy situation because there are people in this country that have made their lives and made their homes here in America. Now, they knew that they were illegal. They knew that this day would someday come, right? Didn't they? You think about this. You came over here illegally. One day you knew you might get that knock on the door, or that time where America decided to sweep it up. This is that time. Is America wrong? Who's wrong about this?
Well, G-check. America wrong about it. They let them in.
Oh, yes, but no, they snuck in, cousin.
Not all of them. Not
Yeah,
all of them.
yeah, but
Not all of them. All of them ain't sneak in.
everybody snuck in.
When did they sneak in? You know, you gotta remember this. If you go back to the 80s before 9/11, nobody had to sneak in. You could get on a plane and just fly over here.
Well,
So
but they flew
some
over
of them,
here
some of them
with a
still living
visa
here.
that said that you have to return home, and these people did not return
So
home.
what happened to Trump wife? She ain't turned home yet.
Yeah, no, she got her papers. There's people
Mm.
that are here legally. So you don't get me wrong. You can come into America legally, and that's following all the paperwork, showing up to court. It's just like we can't go into anybody else. I can't go to Ghana and make a life in Ghana and then don't tell Ghana that I'm there, and then if they find out that I'm there, thinking that I'm not going to be sent home. It's just that now I don't know home, right? They're sending people, like you said, 1980. They're sending people home. You didn't get your paperwork yet. You've been falling under the lines. That means you're not paying taxes. That means you're not doing a lot of things, cousin.
But why? Let me G-check this, cuz the people are paying taxes. We paying for right now. It was a bill. We paying for while they build these houses, these buildings. We paying our taxes for. We paying taxes for everything, and
Right. And so the people that are illegal are not. But they're also getting welfare money. So now you can get some welfare money. You're not paying taxes because you don't have a social security number and you're not going to work. You're working under the table, you're working off the books. So we are being cheated. Okay. And we've got to stop saying that, oh, everybody who came over here illegal, we got to stick up for them. We got to stick up for ourselves. Our communities are not right. Our communities are not on point. And this is a G check because we're sitting here worried about everybody else, but we're not worried about ourselves. We're not worried about what we're getting. We're not worried about what we're not getting because they're bombarding us with this immigration stuff, and we've been here generations on generations building America up and not getting our just due because everybody else is coming to get it.
oh, G-check, right? Generations. They lock the main people up. So this is what you get when you take all the fathers and lock them up, give them all this time where where you where you leave there to run the house.
Uh-huh.
You leave the
What
mothers
do you
there to
mean?
run the house. So, huh?
What do you mean?
I'm saying is, you said we've been here for generations. We need the help. But at the end of the day, the same people that we pay taxes and, we vote them in, they lock us up. When they use, it's like we put them in office and the first thing they do is talk about crime. Yeah, we know crime is going on. Our kids doing it, your kids doing it, everybody kids doing it. But why is we suffering the most?
Because we're not focused on the things that we need. This is what I'm saying. People are
Oh no,
coming,
a lot of people
jumping in
focus
our
on what we
space,
need.
but people are jumping in our space and talking about us, okay? And talking about the things that we're doing and then not focus. Um, sorry, talking about the things that we're not focused on. But let's move on because I want to make sure that we get everything. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani has been very vocal in opposing President Trump. We know that, right? So despite being just weeks on the job, we just got on the job. So let's be clear. The mayor's role is to manage the city, not posture on international politics. This is where people get confused and politicians take advantage. AB, is this leadership or performance politics? Now, have you seen what he was doing? He was at 1520 Sedgwick, the birthplace of hip hop, the other day, talking about this, that, and the third. And he's talking about that he's going to change how landlords move about. And there was a guy in there that took a page out of your book, and he said, "Listen, we're with you right now, Mayor. But if you don't do what you say you're going to do, we're not going to be with you, and we're going to see you out the door." So the guy was with you on your thoughts. But have you seen his first week in office, and what do you think?
I think he's doing a great job.
Okay, why?
That's a G check.
Why?
He talking that talk that, yeah.
He
All
talking
I'm
that
be do,
talk.
all I'm do that talking, talk,
But this
talk,
is
talk.
supposed to be different, cousin.
Yeah, but listen, you got to remember this, right? This is first year in there, first couple of days in there.
Mm-hmm.
He got to fix. He got to, people don't realize you can't get into a building and ain't gonna step on no mud. You got to clean the mud up. There's a lot of mud need to be cleaning up.
Okay. But so this week he has had a press conference 2, 3 times a day. He's out in New York making himself known. The police commissioner said that she is reporting directly to him. There's a lot of stuff that he's been doing. He says, "Listen, I've called President Trump. I reported my opposition to him of arresting Maduro, and I put that on the table." They said, "Well, what did he say?" "Well, nothing." He said nothing. Right. And so now, wait a minute. After all of this, President Trump then paused $10 billion going to major states like Chicago, Minnesota, New York, and a couple other places, because they have, and we have here in New York, people on our roll that do not have American citizenship. So while he's running his mouth, he's slowing it down for the people. I don't know if that is good, bad, or ugly. But now let's talk about our culture before our guest comes on. A petition has surfaced calling for Nicki Minaj to be deported after she appeared at the Turning Point USA event. The petition has over 100,000 signatures, and let me make this clear. Disagreeing with someone politically does not give you the right to erase them. This is cancel culture weaponized, and it's dangerous. Also, in entertainment news, Misa Hilton has dropped her case against Mary J. Blige,
She
saying
shouldn't have
she
never.
also.
She shouldn't have G checked. She shouldn't. This is what I'm saying. And I knew Misa when she was a kid. This is what I'm saying to America, man, our people. If you cool with somebody, you rock with her. Mary rock for a minute, B. Like I say, that's my little homegirl. But putting, what I mean, suing over a dude, come on, you can't be serious. You can't be serious. That's your girl. If
Well,
if
what kind of girl?
everybody know you threw Puff Baby mother, but everybody know you threw Mary too. So
Right.
at the
She
end of the
dressed she
day,
dressed the she dressed Mary to a T.
yeah,
Okay? Like
yeah,
she dressed Mary and made and
yeah. You should have
who
had
Mary was. But
you should
people
have had
want
a you
to
should have had a better you should have had a better conversation with the sister, man. You know what I mean? And it's sad to see Mount Vernon Yonkers going through what they going through. And this is what it been like we was kids. Mount Vernon didn't get along with Yonkers, New Rochelle, White Plains, but at the end of the day, certain people you get along with, you gotta have that conversation. You know what I mean? Like don't take it personal.
Mm-hmm.
Your friendships is more important than money. Always remember that.
Well,
That's
they're
a G
learning that the
check.
hard way. So what do you think about Nicki Minaj? Now, Nicki Minaj went and spoke with Erica Kirk over at Turning Point USA, and she the Barbs and everybody. She lost 10 million followers in a day, and now
Mhm.
they have a petition running around saying they want her to be deported. Not that's she's an American citizen, I'm sure, and not that that's anything, but
Let
they're
me let
they're
me
trying to
let
cancel
me
Nicki Minaj for talking Republican stuff.
let me G check this, right? Knowing Nikki when she first came to Violator, when I came home in the office like 3 or 4 times trying to get a deal, but at the same time, Nikki got issues. She got a lot of issues.
Okay,
So
hold that thought, cuz for half a second, we're gonna go to a break and we're to come back here on the New American Perspective and hear what those issues are on this on the G check here on Millennium News 24. Look forward to seeing you.
Hello viewers, you are watching Millennium News 24. America and global villages seen to America independence built by immigrants, manufacturers, roads, highways, educations, healthcare, IT, scientists, space, business development to all thousands of multimedia and all major social media platforms and news network in America. Millennium News 24, one of truthfully news networks in America and global news organizations. Please watch, follow and subscribe. We are in iOS and Android devices, Roku, Amazon, Apple devices, all smart TV, globally Horizon satellite, social media Millennium News 24, Millennium TV 24. Website www.millenniumnews24.com and www.millenniumtv24.com. Thank you.
And we are
we
back here on Millennium News 24, and I'm your host, Jineea Butler, and that's my co-host,
AB Butler.
and we are the Butler Gang here on the New American Perspective. Now, because you were just talking before we went to a break about Nicki Minaj and her 1-2s and what you know about her, go for it.
What I was saying is, Nikki have a lot of issues since she got her deal. And I don't know what happened, what made her go left on the left side and just doing what she doing. She was real disrespect to the people that worked around her. She was real nasty to the people who was on the set when we was on the set, And me personally, I tell her, dude, when she came on the set on Barbershop 3 being, Nikki, I was telling everybody on the set, her man ain't hit her right. So, and then, one day she came with a good attitude. So I said, see what I mean? He was on the set. But like I say, Nikki have a nasty attitude. And sometimes these artists, it don't matter you from America, you're not from America. Sometimes people need to sit back and understand who made you. And you should always respect them because no matter what position you in, you gotta always remember, respect people that help you get to where you at. And like I said, she might need to go back to her country and get her mind right and get her, then file for a citizen because everybody already know who she is. But I really think that she definitely need to go and get an eye opener. That's a G check.
That's a G check. Now, let's also say that Miss Minaj, I think our guest is on, but let's also say that Miss Minaj, she also has a husband. There he is. He
JB,
has a
AB.
husband. How are you?
All right.
This is Alizé Jones. But let me just say this before we introduce Mr. Jones here, that she has a husband who has a pedophile charge and is going through a whole bunch of stuff. So a lot of people are saying that she potentially was trying to get a pardon for her husband so he doesn't carry that piece again. We need to come big again. I don't know what made us small. Okay, there we
Yeah.
are. So let me introduce our illustrious guest. Lenny Alizé Jones is not new to this platform or to this movement. He and I have worked together since 2009 when we launched the Hip Hop Union under the Rainbow Push and Jesse Jackson Sr. We are focused on restoring structure, ownership, and accountability to hip hop. He is a Bronx native, the birthplace of hip hop, founder of Courtside Consulting, a serial entrepreneur, celebrity consultant who's worked with Roy Jones, Peter Gunn, Shaquille O'Neal, and now expanding business in Dallas, Texas. This Saturday, January 10th, he celebrates the release of his book, School of the Track Masters, at the Brooklyn Trap House, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Alizé, welcome to the New American Perspective, my friend.
I'm not sure if you could hear me, but I
We can
think I lost
Now we can hear you.
the sound.
Okay,
I'm trying to
look
get
at the top.
the
We can
top.
hear you. Look at the top of the
Um,
page. It has the microphone at the top of the stream yard. At the stream yard. We can
man,
hear you.
you could hear me though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man,
Just tell us about yourself
sheesh.
and then figure it out. Or you could go out and
Let me
come
see
back
if
in.
this helps any. Sheesh.
We can't see you now.
Yeah, I tried to.
Well,
Okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. I
Okay.
got it.
Okay. Perfect.
I
So
got it back.
so we
How
can
do I
introduce
stop
you.
the people coming in? I heard the introduction. Thank you so much. Man, I got to get the do not disturb on so people don't, the
Oh, you
phones,
got
the
to do
incoming calls
airplane mode.
don't,
Yeah. Yeah. You
or I
airplane
can
mode.
do airplane mode and still keep let me
Uh huh.
try that right now. That might work.
well, anyway, about Nicki Minaj and her man's a pedophile, her brother's a pedophile. So, it is what it is. You can't, no matter what, you get everything taken off you. You still that pedophile.
Well, but if he gets pardoned, he no longer has to say that process
No,
when you talk
I
he gonna
got it now.
always say that process. He gonna always be on that website as a pedophile.
well,
Exactly.
why are you gonna say he's always gonna be on that piece? Well, let's
So,
get into this young gentleman right here, and let's talk about who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I told everybody you're the owner of Courtside Consulting, a Bronx native,
Yes.
founder behind the School of Track Master. The book release happening this Saturday, people, January 10th, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. at the Brooklyn Chop House. Tap in with us if you want to get down and come out. And so just tell us a little bit about your endeavors and congratulations on your becoming an author amongst your many other things that you're doing. So talk to us. Tell us what's going on.
Thank you so much, JB. Thank you so much, AB. I appreciate you guys allowing me to be on the platform. Basically, in a nutshell, I'm a guy from the Bronx. An entrepreneur, very ambitious. I started out working for KRS One. It was actually my girlfriend at the time. She had the rapport with him. I know him from seeing him around the neighborhood. I was in like two videos, and he kind of when he saw me with her, he was like, "Oh man, what you doing out here? Like, how you get out?" Because he was working in Jersey. This was 1994. He was managing Mad Lion and a group called Channel Live in himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, "You know what you doing out here in Jersey?" But it was the girl I was dating who she had the rapport with him. And I worked with him briefly, maybe about a 2 month span. So that kind of really piqued the interest. I had some family that was into the music space, so I never thought to get into it because it was a family. But I took it from there. I planted the seed. I had a barbershop at the time. I was working for New York City Housing Authority for about 2 3 years, and then Camp Low. I got a record deal, and that's what really did it. Because we grew up together, me and one of the members. We used to actually live together. They used to, we used to stay in the same house. So from there, it was like, hey, I'm looking to be a part of it. Started out managing, and then I got into the production side of things. Once I got the producers bug, that a guy named Portier had kind of showed me the ropes with that. I took that to producing, and I did that until I really couldn't do it anymore. Started a kids brand. I met track masters along the way. Started making beats with them. Was signed to them. Learned a bunch that became the inspiration for my book. Made my rounds. Made a lot of my bones in the music entertainment space. After that, I started a kids brand. We was able to raise over $1 million in a kids brand that I got called Hey Young World. And after that, I kind of transitioned to a lot of people were calling me, asking me, how was I able to do what I do? Can I help them do certain things? And then I got into the understanding of what a consultant was, meaning people could pay me for that knowledge and wisdom and connecting the dots with some of the people I knew from the entertainment space or some of the companies and corporations that I was able to work with. And I just understood how to monetize that, and it grew to where I'm at now. I was just very fortunate to understand what that was, all really coming from helping people first and then attaching the dollar signs afterwards. So went through some very hard life lessons, making bad decisions and having to be responsible for them, and that has all kind of cooked me up and baked me up to now I'm like served, really well done, very seasoned, very ready to kind of just be a manifestation and do what I want to do for my family and people that love me and care about me as people I love and care about as well. So now I think I'm ready to step out with a formula of what that is and a prioritized schedule of to say, this is my way to be successful. These are the people I care about. This is the reason I'm doing it for. And with all those things in alignment, it's like, here you are. Now you see, me here ready, as humble as I can be, ready to conquer the world.
Awesomeness. So, let me ask you, why was it important to tell this story about the School of Track Masters now, and what does it really mean?
So working with those guys, like, you learn a lot. Those guys, I had a DJ, for example, the guy that's gonna be DJing the event Saturday, right? His name is Thorough. So Thorough called me literally last night. And he was like, yo, man, I've just finished, some of the Trackmaster set, or he's halfway through it. And he was like, yo, I might have to put them in my top three of who I think all time producers are. Because I'm looking at songs that they did. I didn't even know they did that. And it was like, because they don't like the spotlight. But working with them very intimately and personally, it's like I could understand why they call themselves the track masters, because their regimen and their discipline, like, you don't really see them out. They're not guys of the spotlight. They are true creatives. So working with the likes for them of Michael Jackson, Will Smith, Biggie Smalls, like those guys, they're so deliberate. They really have it figured out. And even like an example, again, you learn these things. I would say, they may not say, but understanding the story and having the story presented to me, Tone and Track Masters, that's really Red Hat Lover Tone from back in the days, used to be a rapper,
Mm-hmm.
right? Tone may be single-handedly responsible for the Biggie Smalls we have of today. And I say that to say, if you listen to Ready to Die, Biggie Smalls' early projects, or that project, a lot of the first recorded songs, listen to the cadence and the style of how Biggie's rapping. It's very, so you want to be hardcore with the pep and rap and, party and bullshit. 222s in my shoes. You hear them real off pitch, real high, real loud, real kind of all over the place. The songs you hear that Trackmaster's done to the end of the project where they got the single. So you get Juicy, you get Birthdays Was the Worst Days, then you get One More Chance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Black and Ugly as Ever. However, I stay cool. That's Tone saying, listen, stop rhyming like that. That's
Mm.
cool, but that's happy rap.
Right.
Rhyme like this in this cadence with this flow, with this delivery. And
He
now
worked
you
he
get
worked with Biggie as well, or
they produce Juicy.
okay, okay, great, great, great,
They
great.
produced One More Chance. So
Uh-huh.
when you start to see, when they get involved, how different they had a hand in the what's the what with Biggie and Method Man. Something dick up and
Uh-huh.
excuse me, flows just run through me. And clip
Uh-huh.
the branches, clip the avalanches. It's the praying mantis.
Right.
That's that
Mm,
flow that,
mm,
So seeing things and understanding things like that, it becomes, yo, these guys not playing around.
right.
You
So
know?
let's hold that thought for 1 second.
hmm
We're gonna go to a break really quick, and we're gonna come back with Alizé Jones and more with the courtside consulting, and School of the Trackmasters here on the New American Perspective with Jineea Butler and my co-host
AB Butler.
here in the house. We'll be right back. And we are back here on the New American Perspective with our special guest, Alizé Jones from Courtside Consulting. And we're talking about his new book, School of Trackmasters, having a book release this Saturday, January 10th, at the Brooklyn Chop House. Tap in if you want to RSVP to that. But tell us more. So let me ask AB. AB, so do you know the original Tone when he was, what was his name, Alizé?
Red Hot Lover Tone.
Red Hot Lover Stone. Do you know him? Tell me about it because I missed that. I missed
Yeah,
that.
listen, that right there was classic music, So yeah, I do know about them, and I know about Tone Pope because my cousin, rest in peace, Chris Lighty, did a lot of business with them. And shout out to my man, we grew up together, Jeff Dixon, brother, Greg. It's like a family. It's like a family. It's like a family thing. But I
Mm-hmm.
know about all the hits, like I say, Hypnotize, Juicy. That was one of the shows that, that's one of the songs that Biggie performed for me in the penitentiary at Fort Dix, 1995.
Mm-hmm. And that's
Yeah.
how this world is so small. And so, what has entrepreneurship, Alize, taught you that hip hop alone could not?
Man, I would want to say to me, it's actually, I would want to say reversed. So hip hop has taught me how to be an entrepreneur, if I
Ooh,
could say it, because I think entrepreneurship, well, for me, hip hop instilled in me at a time where life was crazy. I came up in the crack era. I say, I start to embrace the fact that, I'm a survivor of the crack era. Now,
mm,
as my family was good,
mm-hmm,
I could sit and say my mom's and my father, they were both on drugs. And I come from good families on both sides.
mm-hmm,
Um, my father's side a little more financially stable, a little, but my grandmother's side, they were equally as good. So coming up for it, hip hop was something we turned to because it was new and it was refreshing. Hip hop instilled um self-confidence, stop the violence, how you withdraw, how you push through, how you get over whatever obstacles you was in, because whatever obstacles you was in, because hip hop was about overcoming. We had nothing. We had the worst, right? So it was like seeing and being from the Bronx. The Bronx was burnt down, right? It was like nothing in the Bronx. Like we come from the train where the lights used to be dark.
mm-hmm,
It used to, wait, hold on 1 second.
mm-hmm.
So we come from the train in the back of the. I lived on 167th Street, where you would take the train, the D train. I went to school down on Delancey Street.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my brother, we take the train, and the lights. Sometimes the lights be off. Sometimes the doors don't open. And then 167th Street, the back of the train was where we had to get out. So I come from the back of the train. Life was just hard. I come from Webster Projects, is 1 block over from where we lived,
Mm-hmm.
right? So just the coping mechanisms, the turning nothing into something is what hip hop instilled in us. You take a sample, you take a record. Sometimes these guys, they're so creative because of the pressures and the perils of living, surviving, being hungry, being abused. Like you don't have no money. You go through so much. The ingenuity, the genius that comes out. Some guys take samples, you'll listen to and be like, fuck, how the hell did he hear that? What how the like I think the Shook ones, Mob Deep sample. I listen to that sample sometimes, just how he was able to flip that and make that happen. It's just the genius of what we've been able to do under those circumstances. So that allows you to tackle anything, to say, I come from not much. I don't care if I win, lose, or fail. A failure might even be a step up because I tried something that it's like, nah, I'm betting on myself because I'm able to make the something out of nothing. So coming from the hip hop perspective of that, you always just felt like nothing I couldn't do. You could live and go away in your head in your rhymes. That's why people say, hey, I got 20 binges, all the girls in the world. Man, that kid could be stuck in his room, but hip hop allows you to take your mind there and build that confidence. So I would want to say for me, it's hip hop allowed me to be seeing some of my people that look like me come from nothing to
Mm-hmm.
be, whatever they are. It makes you feel like you could do anything. And my thing just was always kind of money. I liked money. I like to dress nice. My family always dressed me nice. So that was the inspiration. And girls, if I may say it, was
Girls.
always the inspiration to, yeah, you better find that money. I had to figure out that money some type of way, somehow. So it allowed me to just, go out and try my hand at many things.
AV, you want to chime in? Give that a G check.
Listen, I'm gonna G check this, man. Just keep doing what you're doing and keep growing. And don't, like I tell people all the time, don't forget where you come from, because a lot of us, yeah, we went through the struggles, we did this, but once we get on, we get amnesia. So, that's my G check.
The
When
G
you when you
check.
when you're
So,
doing good,
uh huh.
when you're doing good, and you come back to your community and show the love. One thing about it, you can't help everybody, but help one or two. They gonna help one or two, so you really did it all. So that's like me. I came home, I looks out. That's why I can move around. You see me everywhere, and that's a G check.
That's a G check. So let me ask you, Alize, why does ownership matter more than fame?
For me, definitely ownership matters more than fame because, to be honest, as I could say, I came from the crack era. I still had families that was good, even when times were like the worst. I was fortunate enough to. I've had every Christmas. I don't think I've ever missed a Christmas in my life. I don't think my children ever missed a Christmas in their lives. But to be able to come from, and these are at times where things were hard. The children wouldn't have known, might not have known about the script struggles me and their mom might have went through, and I might not have known fully the struggles that my parents or the adults that helped me went through. But whatever it is, every year was Christmas under there was toys under the tree. So the ownership portion comes in. I just felt, and I also too, I've been in like a working positions where sometimes you might be smarter than the supervisor, you might have more knowledge than the people that you work for. The mistreatment, sometimes people will show you when they have like that authority to you. People, yo, fucking go do whatever I said, and you'd be like, who you talking to? You go through that. So sometimes the ego, image, and pride, it allowed me to sit and say, I kind of want to be my own boss. I have a lot of knowledge. I have a lot of resources. I want to work for myself because somebody talking to me some kind of way, it might turn into something else, and then it's a bigger problem. Somebody coming at me, yelling at me because they had a bad day. I might punch a guy in the face. It's because you're talking to me like I think I know more than you anyway, or whatever that looks like, right? And again, it's the realest thing, what AB said, being able to put people on. I was very inspired by that early because my grandfather, a lot of people in my family, everybody kind of had their own business. My grandfather had a dollar van business. So he had 3 vans he was renting out. He was the pastor of a church. So he was always kind of employing people. And I always saw that as that was something you had to do because every time I had a job, a lot of times it didn't work out for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I want to be my own, I want to be my own boss. I
Didn't
want to
work
be,
out. I talk about it every time I had a job.
yeah.
It worked out.
So just ownership is just it's about having something to pass on to family because I just come from that, and that is such a big staple in how I live my life, and the inspiration of my life now is to be able to have stuff to give to my kids, the people I love, people I care about, and I just can't see leaving that into somebody else's hands. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather own it. If I work for somebody, me personally, there's only so much I'll make. If I work for myself, the ceiling is endless. So, that's the inspiration to ownership, something that you control your own destiny when you own things.
150,000%. And so tell us what we can expect out of this new book. Tell us something that you know you know we're going to talk about an excerpt on Saturday, but tell us a little bit about what they can expect if they want to come out Saturday. What can they expect from this, and more book
So,
signings from there.
so just in hand, just in general, right? Like a quick excerpt would be, um, they used to have this show called Fear Factor,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we used to watch Fear Factor. Now remember, Trackmasters is very reserved, and when I met them, they already was Jay-Z and R. Kelly, best of both worlds. Like there isn't anybody these guys hadn't worked with,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we go to the studio, they'd be like, all right, this week we working from Monday to Saturday, 8 p.m. until the last person go home. And we would sit and make beats and tracks for everybody, right? And they would get a list because they had a song deal with every label, so they have a fulfillment list where they got to do over 200 tracks.
Mm.
You can't do 200 track. Like, these are only 2 guys here. So it'd be like, all right, this week we're working on Usher. This week we're working on Ludacris. This week Mariah Carey. So it's stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys would, they just would punch in, and they're there like everybody else is there with millions of dollars, big homes, all the cars in the world. These guys were working like none of that meant anything. So, and they only wanted people in their circle that had that same passion. So we would watch Fear Factor. And to show you again how deliberate these guys are, Fear Factor would have people, you lay in a box full of worms, you got to drink donkey semen, or it's just the craziest things Fear Factor would make you do for money.
Right. I remember.
So so somebody would bring somebody to the studio. We'd be watching Fear Factor and they'll say something like, yo, you would you would do that for amount of money? And if that person said yeah, get that person out of there. Right. So
Mm-mm.
then one time I was there not understanding it, and this was Polk. Polk had caught me off guard, I think. It was like somebody eating worms or something, laying in a coffin full of worms. And he was like, yo, Zay, you would sit there and lay in that coffin for worms for 50,000? So me not understanding and listening to what he said, I'm just hearing the 50,000. So I'm like, what? I lay in that coffin, they could put 2 coffins on me with the worms. That ain't nothing. I'll take that 50 bands.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said it, I double looked. I caught myself saying it. And I would see other people who somebody would bring somebody around and they talk crazy. They'd be like, yo, who man was that? That's your man? Yo, don't
Right.
ever bring him to the studio
Early
again. Get him
like
out of there.
this.
Yeah. So what it was if I'm willing to lay in a box of worms for 50,000, I know in 2 days they got R. Kelly coming. Or let me not say that. They got Jay-Z coming to the studio.
Right.
Why
Jay-Z
not
might
say
come to
R.
the
Kelly?
studio.
G-Check. G-Check. Let
Huh?
me G-Check this. Why not say R. Kelly, man?
I mean, you know what? You're absolutely right. We
Yeah,
can,
but
because
you
I don't
got
have
we
no
can't.
issues. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't fall
yeah,
into the
yeah,
system of that.
yeah.
But
There
just
you
saying,
go.
you're
That's
absolutely
a
correct.
G-check, man. You
That's it.
can't
I take the G
because
check.
once
We got
again,
about
what
30 seconds, gentlemen.
what you just
Okay.
said, Fairfax.
Uh huh.
They say do not. You just did it again, homie. You know what I mean? Because R. Kelly, it's a lot of people did worse than R. Kelly, and we still deal
Absolutely.
with him, B. So
No,
it's like
absolutely.
this.
I'm
It's a
with
due
you.
check, B. All right.
So
Just
let
want
I'm
to
with
make
you.
let him
sure.
finish real quick. Go ahead, Alize. We got a couple. We got a couple more moments.
Okay, so what happens is when you say that, right? So let's say they got an R. Kelly or Jay Z coming to the studio. These guys might be liable to come to the studio with, $500,000 in cash. They might come to the studio with $1 million worth of jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're sitting here, you'll eat some worms for
Mm.
50,000. What
Oh,
I only could imagine what you would
good
do
one.
when there's a $500,000 conversation on the line. So we can't have that energy around. And that was their thing. And let me tell you, I'm the biggest person, right? A lot of stuff go on with a lot of our peers. I'm a person that you can't take somebody's accomplishment of what they did away from them, no matter who they are. Because I think personally, we all got some shit with us. Everybody is not perfect, but you can't take away somebody's genius. And to me, R. Kelly, having had a chance to work with him, R. Kelly is one of the most illest, prolific, gifted, talented, professionalism songwriters that I've been able to experience in my lifetime. So definitely no shade to say R. Kelly or no shade to anybody getting caught up. But, just saying and speaking, the examples were, you know, there would be, we were around celebrities every day, all day, who had valuables and would play with some money. So can't have somebody scheming on them. They didn't even want you any inkling that
That was
you were
good.
off the mark. Yeah. So it's a lot of lessons in that, me taking for granted, me not looking till later.
Mhm.
And, I just had a point where I was in a very dark space and it took me over a year to get out. And what helped me get my focus back was I was like, yo, all of the things that I've been through, I learned some really serious things that I should be able to use to help me in my
Yeah.
circumstances. And a
Yes.
lot of those principles, or some of them, came from me working with those guys. So I was like, man, it became my testimony. Let me write it down. I was able to write it, and it helped me out. So I'm able to talk about
Amen.
it.
Thank you so much. So
Yes.
we want you to come back, talk about more about the book, more about the things that you're doing, more about Dallas. We didn't talk about Dallas a lot, so you have to come back here from
Okay.
American perspective. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, AB. Thank you, Alize, for tuning
A
in.
B J B.
Thank
Thank you for having me.
you, everybody
Anytime,
in the chat.
anytime.
All
Yep, we
right,
doing our
kid.
thing over here. We'll see you next week, Monday at 1 p.m. I'll see you then.
You got it. Okay.